Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I am so excited to share the new 2020 KitLife Planners with you. The Keeping It Together team, otherwise known as KitLife, have been in this community for a very long time. I first met them at the very first Go Wild in New Orleans. They are just the sweetest women, and they are so kind and so thoughtful, and they genuinely care about this community and have supported this community so much through the years, which it just means a lot to me as a member of the community. And they also have a standalone store, which I got to visit last summer when I was down there. It had pretty much just opened. It was a couple weeks old, and I got to go visit when I was visiting. It's in Winter Garden, Florida. So cute, and they host all kinds of little fun meetups and cute events and have this storefront that really is just so unique, I feel like, in this community, and I really appreciate that about them. The other thing that I really love about the KitLife company and mission is that they are about more than just planners. They know that your life is more than just about to-do lists in your planner, and so they try to incorporate other aspects of your life that are important, that they believe are important, into the planner and into the community as well. So the first thing we're gonna do is start going through the insides, because that's the most important part. So let's flip over to the top-down view, and I'm going to share with you both the daily and the weekly layouts. Okay, let's start with the daily. So this is the cover that they sent me on the daily. It is so beautiful. This one is actually probably my favorite cover of all of the covers this year. It is a bright colored sort of box stripe in the background, and then it's got this gold burst. I'm not a big fan of the gold. Obviously, I would prefer if it was silver, but the bright colors makes it my favorite cover. The coil colors for these planners are not personalized. You can't pick the coil color. It will match the cover that you choose. So this is a gold cover, so it comes with a gold coil. Their coils are also a little bit, I would say, darker. Like, they are very nice. They don't look like run down, but it's more of a darker gold than it is a true like bright yellow gold. Just something to note if that's something that you care about. All right, the covers on these planners are hardcover. That's one of their signature things. One of my favorite things about this planner is the hardcover. If you are gonna have a planner that you're gonna carry around that's going to be sturdy for the entire year, like, their covers are really hard and sturdy. I have a planner here from last year that I'm gonna use to compare. It feels like the same thickness as last year. So if you had a planner last year or you've felt one of their planners in the past, it is the same thickness. All right. Let's go ahead and open it up. Oh, it's so exciting. Okay, so the pocket is on the front this year. So last year, the pocket was on the back, and it was this clear vinyl, like, sideways pocket, like this. This year, the pocket is in the front, and it is kind of more of a paper pocket, I would say. Like, not like it's gonna rip, but it's not, it's laminated, but it's not plastic for sure. Oh, it's definitely paper. I just read the spec sheet. It's paper. It's a paper pocket, but it does feel like I'm pulling on it, and it doesn't feel like it would, you know, kind of fall apart. I do like that it's bigger, so it allows you to put more things in there as opposed to that small one that used to be in the back. All right, so then we have the cover page, which has their mantra on it: do more, be more, give more, which I really love. It's one of my favorite things, like I mentioned, about the KitLife company and the KitLife girls. All right, let's flip. Oh, look at this. All right, so their version of the color scheme is there are 4 colors that rotate between the months. So there, you can see all 4 colors here on the tabs on the side, and we're just gonna rotate through them versus every month being its own color. So the first color we have is this sort of like Kelly green, which is really pretty. I do really like this color. I like the shade of green. So these first 2 pages here are their quarterly check-in. This is something unique to their planner that I really haven't seen in any other planner. The power sheets do have a quarterly check-in, but they have a quarterly check-in. Last year, there was more of a flip kind of fold-out page. Let me show you. Yeah, before July, right? I use this planner for work, so I didn't really use the quarterly check-in, but here is what a quarterly check-in looked like last year, and it had like some info on this side, some things that you would fill in on this side, and then it had a flap that came out, and then you could also rip this off and take this flap with you. It fit inside of their bookmark. So this year there's no longer that flap. The left side doesn't have information. It has sort of something for you to fill in. This is gonna be different for each quarter. So the first quarter is habits, which I love. If you've been around, I love habits. So I love that that's how we're kicking off the year. And then this, I think, is gonna be the same for every quarter. Yeah. So these are the things that you're gonna fill in every quarter to kind of just check in where you're at. I do love the concept of a quarterly check-in. It seems like it's very simplified this year compared to prior years. Like it isn't as much to think about or fill out, which I really appreciate. All right, and then we have a notes page, and they have a little doodle that you can color in, or you can, continue the doodle. I think this is sort of one of their flares that they add to the planner. I see the pros and cons. I like that it adds a little something to the notes page, but you do lose a couple of lines with that. That's just going to be a personal preference, whether you like that or not. All right, then we have the monthly welcome page. So each of these pages is going to be different, and it has some information. So it's got an aspirational attribute, something that you want to work towards, and a quote that's going to help you get there. It's got a kindness challenge, which is so freaking cool. I love that. I think that's the same. Not the same challenge every month, but I think there's a kindness challenge every month. Yeah. The in the kitchen, that category is the same every month. So it's got a suggestion or a recommendation for something to do in the kitchen. This category, a little something extra, is something just random. It looks like it's random every month. It's kind of different. Then you have a monthly maintenance category. So things that you should be doing periodically. And here are the things that you can do in January. Flush your drains with vinegar, vacuum your refrigerator coils. I did not even know you were supposed to do that. And then you have some observations and celebrations. I love this. Letter writing week. Oh, I am all about that. So I love this overview page. It's just some fun things to work on, to try if you don't have any ideas for yourself, which is really cool. Okay, this page also with the tab is a little bit thicker than the other paper. I'll talk a little bit more about the paper at the end, but the page that has the tab, which is just a laminated tab, the skinny tab, is a little bit thicker. All right, then you have the monthly layout. Now the monthly layout does incorporate all 4 colors, which I think is interesting. You have a couple holidays here, and you've got the month before and the month after. I don't really understand why you need the month before. I've seen it in other planners. This isn't a new thing. And then you have a section for goals. I like the simplicity of this layout. I like that there's not a lot of extra space at the top, which allows you to have bigger boxes so you have space to write things. I'm not a huge fan of the cursive font that the holidays are written in, but I like the other font a lot. And the print is sort of it's a gray, which I appreciate. It's not dark, it's not too stark. The lines are lighter than the numbers as well. I don't know if that matters to you, but just something to know. And then we get into the daily layout. So each weekday is going to look like this. So you've got the big 3 here at the top. So what are your most important things for the day? You've got a space for additional to-dos with little check boxes. You've got an hourly section, which has all of the hours from 6 to 8, not broken down by half hour. You've got just this line section over here that you can do whatever you want with. And then you have 3 sections that they believe are very important to your everyday life, which is be grateful, be active, and eat well. They mentioned in the spec sheet that changing from 2019, they have streamlined the daily pages to be clean and fun. They've removed the background but kept splashes of color. So you do notice, similar to the monthly layout, the daily pages are all the same color scheme. So it's got the pink at the top. This is gray, this is pink, yellow, blue, and green. You're not gonna change up the daily depending on the month. Last year, I assumed they had some sort of backsplash. If you look at last year's weekly, let me show you a weekly layout. So this is what the monthly looked like last year. It had this border around it. And then here was what the weekly looked like last year. And so it had this sort of background color to it. I didn't have a daily from last year, so I don't know exactly what it looked like, but this layout is very basic. There is a little bit of color in the flag and then in these, but for the most part, this is a very simple layout. I am not a daily planner when it comes to the weekdays because I work a 9-to-5 job. I could see myself using a daily planner for work, but it wouldn't be something like this because they put a lot of focus on the other aspects of your life. Self-care, be grateful, being active. And if I'm using a planner for work, I'm not gonna use something that's got all that extra stuff to it. But if you're somebody who uses a daily planner for your personal, like your everyday life, I think that this is a great planner, especially if you don't mind not having the half-hour breakdowns. For some people that's important, for some people it's not. I think there's plenty of space to do what you need to do. There's a little bit of structure to kind of guide you to some important things to focus on, but there's not too much structure going on here, which I do like. I like this layout, and if I ever became someone who like worked for myself and I needed a daily planner at home every day, maybe I would use something like this. So like I said, these are the weekday layouts. And then the weekend looks like this. So they have combined the weekend to be on one page, which can be a pet peeve for a lot of people. So you just have to decide, again, is that a deal breaker for you? On the weekends, they don't have it broken down by hour. So they just have a long running to do and then a space for self-care. And then they have these little flag sections over here on the side, which I think is an interesting layout. My brain immediately jumps to, I would put like a time here and write what the activities I have going on for that weekend and like what, you know, where is the address. If say you have a birthday party, write time and so-and-so's birthday, and then you write the location so you have all that information, and you can, you know, 3 for Saturday and 3 for Sunday. You could use this in a number of different ways. You could use it with the same categories from over here if that's something that's still important to you on the weekends. I think this is an interesting space that leaves a little bit of space for you. I wish there were lines maybe. I don't like writing on empty space, but that's just my personal preference. And then you go like this for every single day of the month until you get to the end of the month. And then you have the welcome page to kick off the new month, the monthly layout, and so on and so forth. Okay, remember back when I said January was green? That was a huge lie. I was totally off on that. That's just the quarterly layout. January is not green. The months don't have a color scheme. The tabs do, but the actual layouts all look the same for the entire planner, no matter what month it is. Like, it's all the same. The quarterly check-ins are each a different color. So here's the quarterly check-in for second quarter, which instead of habits, it's confidence. And then this page is the same. And then here's the quarterly check-in for Q3. I had to think about that for a second. And then the quarterly check-in for Q4. I do think it's interesting that one was teal when there really isn't any other teal. I mean, there is on the cover, but not really. Oh, I guess there is on this page. That's where that teal's coming from. As far as the colors go, I like them, except for this baby pink. That's the one that's kind of getting me. Like, I like this darker pink that they have, but the baby pink doesn't feel like it goes with the other colors for me. The other ones feel much brighter than that baby pink. That's the only one. I like the colors, except that's the only one that's throwing me. It seems a little bit too pastel for the rest of it, but again, the colors are not everywhere, right? They are within the planner. If you are a strictly neutral planner, this is not 100% neutral. And then in the back, when you get to the back, there is a like overview for 2020 and 2021. And then you have 5 notes pages in the back, 5 total, 10 front and back. And that is the end of the daily planner. Now the daily planner is incredibly thick. Like, I mean, look at that bad boy. Let me go ahead and measure it for you. So it is like 1 1/4 inch across. It is incredibly thick. Let me show you the weekly in comparison. So here's the thickness of the weekly, and it is so much thinner than the daily. Isn't that interesting? So just something to note if you are looking for a planner that you're gonna carry around everywhere, this bad boy is pretty big and pretty heavy. Okay, let's put the daily to the side for a second and talk about the weekly. So this is the cover that they sent me for the weekly. It is a rose gold like flower pattern, and it has just the simple box in the middle, and it's got a rose gold coil, very similar to the gold one. It's more of a darker rose gold. It's not the same rose gold as on the cover. Can you see like the difference? This one's a little bit darker, but it's a really, really sturdy coil. I really like, wow. The same nice hard cover, the same pocket on the inside, and the same cover page. Okay, the biggest difference between the daily and the weekly is that the weekly is neutral. Now they're not offering like a colorful or neutral in both layouts. The layout insides are the daily that I just showed you or the weekly that I'm about to show you. It just happens to be that the daily is more colorful and the weekly is more neutral. So even starting with this first page, right? Like this one's got gray and then sort of a salmon color, and this one has color on both pieces. And then you can obviously see the tabs. These tabs are super colorful and these tabs are neutral. They're also a little bit of a different shape. I'm not really sure why that is, but I kind of like the shape of these tabs better. Personal preference. So we have the same quarterly check-in, like the content for the quarterly check-in is the same between both planners, but as you can see, the layout is much more neutral and it's a little bit simpler than the layout that was in the daily. I really like this. and I'm actually very tempted to use this for work. I did use the weekly last year for work for a while, like in the beginning of the year. You can see that I was using it for work, and then I like stopped using it for work because I switched to a daily, I think. Yeah, I think I switched roles and then I switched to a daily for work. And then now I'm in the Erin Condren Deluxe Monthly, which I don't really think that's working for me either. So I think I'm gonna try and go back to this in 2020 and see how that works. But I might use the check-ins and think about it from a work mindset, like my habits for work instead of my habits for real life. You know what I mean? Work is real life, but you get it. All right, and then this notes page is exactly the same. And then you can see that the monthly welcome page is the exact same page in terms of content, but it is much less colorful, but still not 100% neutral, right? We still have a little bit of color with this green, but it's not as much color as this page. The layouts though are 100% neutral. There is no color to be found on the layouts, which I really appreciate. If you are a true neutral planner and the layouts are what's important to you, they're neutral. So here is the monthly layout. So again, no color, it's all black and gray. We have the same kind of font in all the places. The layout looks the same between the two, it's just a different color scheme. And then here is the weekly layout. So again, zero color. This is completely neutral, which is really nice. And there's a lot going on here. There is some structure, but again, still some flexibility. So on the left side, you've got a to-do list that runs all the way down. I kind of wish I had this problem with last year's weekly layout too. I wish that there wasn't this line here. Like I get that it's consistent with the lines over here, but it makes me feel like this isn't one long running to-do list, that I have to have two separate to-do lists, you know what I mean? That's just like a weird personal preference. Then for each day, you have a section with just lines, which you could add check boxes and make this a to-do list, and that's what I did with this space, but you could do anything with this space if you wanted to. And then it has an hourly section. So it goes from 6 to 7 with no half hours. And it's the same for every day of the week, a column for every single day. And then here at the bottom, you have, again, weekly gratitude, self-care, and then be well, and then a little inspirational quote. And so all of the weeks look exactly the same. So I really do like this layout. I love that there's no color. And I think it will really work for me for work. I'm gonna try it again and we'll see if it works. I don't love the cursive font of the month up in the corner, but that again is a personal preference. I love the font everywhere else. I love the inspirational quote. I love the different boxes that they have at the bottom. All right, and then something new that they added this year is these pages in the back of the month. So after the month, you have the notes page with the doodle, and then you have a page for a monthly budget, which I think is really interesting, built into each month. So instead of it being in the back or instead of it being a separate planner, like your budget can be actually within the month, which I thought was really interesting. And then it's got a section for monthly reflection. So how did things go this month? You know, gratitude, experiences, you know, reflecting back on the month. And then you have a space for monthly aspirations for the forward-looking month. If I use this for work, I mean, I guess I could use this, like reflect on work. What were some of my successes? I do really like this idea for a personal planner, if you have a personal planner. I also kind of wish they included this in the daily, but I understand there's only so much space. Like it's already ridiculously thick. It would be even crazier if it had these pages as well. I also kind of wish they had lines, but that's just my problem. I don't like writing without lines. So it's the month, whatever the month is, and it's got space for a lot of habits. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15 habits all the way across, and then it's got some questions here. So how do I feel? What can I do differently? What motivates me? And then personal star rating. And so I guess that this sort of goes with the forward-looking month, because you've got this monthly aspirations and then the habit tracking, and then you've got this notes page, extra notes page here, and then it starts into the February monthly. So I like the idea of having a habit tracker for every month, but having it in this space, so like imagine, here's the monthly, and then imagine you're like on this week. So it's like, here's my weekly, here's my monthly, oh, maybe, here's my monthly, and then here's my habit tracker. I just feel like it might be kind of hard to get to unless I just stick a bunch of bookmarks in here. It just seems kind of out of place. I wish it was maybe like opposite this page, like a little bit closer to the monthly or directly after them. I don't know. Am I crazy here? I don't know, it just feels a little buried in there, and I don't know if I would reference it enough to really make a difference on tracking my habits. But anyways, so you have this notes page, and then it goes right into the next month, and then all of the weekly layouts, and then the same pages at the end of it. So the budget, reflection, aspirations, habits, notes page, etc. And so let's quickly look at those colors. So green, so January was green. Maybe that's where I had it in my head because I'd already flipped through these. And then February is pink, March is yellow, April is teal, and then we go back to green. And then it repeats those colors. And then in the back, you just have the overview. You don't have any extra notes pages because they have the notes pages in between each month. So let's quickly talk about the paper. The paper is super smooth. I love the way that it feels. I don't know exactly how thick it is. We're gonna try it out. Okay, I grabbed my favorite pens to use in planner. So I love my classic Pilot G2, my new favorite, the Tool pen, my Paper Mate Flair, which I love writing because it doesn't leave the ridges like these two does, but it usually shadows. And then the Micron, which is what I feel like doesn't leave ridges and doesn't shadows, is usually that's the solution. So let's go ahead and test these babies out. If you could only pick one pen to pen test in a new planner, what would it be? I pick my favorite pens when I pen test, but I'd love to know what pens are important to you when it comes to pen testing products. See what we've got on the other side here. Oh, it's not so bad. Okay, so as expected, the two gel pens did leave a little bit of ridging, and the Paper Mate Flair does shadow a little bit, but like, it's not too bad. I mean, it's not much worse than the other ones. There is shadowing on all of the pens. I don't know if the lighting is capturing that, but there is shadowing on all 4 pens, but it's not so bad. Like, it's not shadowing that you couldn't, you know, write over it and use it. So I probably would use the Paper Mate Flairs, to be honest, because I think the shadowing bothers me less than the ridging. Okay, that is it in terms of the layouts. I really do think that these are beautiful planners. I think the layouts are unique. I like that they incorporate some other aspects of your life. I like that they have you check in at different points throughout the year. I think if one of those styles of layouts, either daily or weekly, works for your life, I think that this planner is a really great option. Now, let me show you the other cover options. So the first cover, you saw this one that I have on my daily. It's these bright colored stripes with this gold burst. Like I said, this is my favorite cover, even though it does have gold on it with the gold coil. There also is another one that's a stripe like this, but it has got these big rose gold stripes. So it's rose gold and white, and then it's got rose gold burst with a rose gold coil. It's also beautiful. I do love the way that the burst looks on top of those stripes. Then you saw this cover, which is the floral pattern with the white and the rose gold with the rose gold coil. They also have another floral cover that is pink with a bunch of multicolor florals on it. It is also beautiful. It has rose gold accents with a rose gold coil. All right, and then the last two covers both say 2020 on them written out. They're the same design. One of them is light pink and one of them is blue. The light pink one has gold accents with a gold coil, and the blue one is the only one of the 6 covers that has silver accents with a silver coil. Honestly, I love all the covers. I think they're all beautiful. They do such a great job every year of designing the covers. I obviously am a silver girl, so I do love that navy with the silver, but I think the bold stripes is still my favorite. Okay, I have 2 more things to share with you related to the new products and the launch. So the first one is this Keepsake Box. So each of the planners is going to come in one of these Keepsake boxes. It is so high quality, y'all. It is such a nice box. Like, I'm excited just to have these boxes. And they come wrapped in bubble wrap on the inside of the box as well, but the box itself, oh my gosh, it is just such a nice box. It's nice and white. It says keeping it together in gold foil on the front, and this is just such a nice addition this year. Okay, and then they are also doing a launch week promotion. So if you purchase your new 2020 planner during launch week, you're going to get a free gift, which I actually haven't even opened mine yet. I decided we would just open it together. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it looks like, but I'm excited. Oh, it's one of their Bookmark. So I showed last year's bookmark when we did the top-down view, but this one is double-sided. Oh, I really like this. So it's got that same kind of floral pattern on it, but it's gold accent on it, and it's bigger than the one from last year. So it fits in like this. It clips to the top and to the bottom, and then it just kind of sits in there, and it sticks out the top a little bit, so it acts as a bookmark, but then it's also a pocket. It has a pocket on the front and a pocket on the back. And again, this will be available in the shop, but it will also be included as a free gift if you order your planner during launch week. Okay, of course, the last piece of information I've got to share with you is the price. The weekly planner is $53 and the daily planner is $63. I will have a link in the description box for you to get $5 off your purchase. So if you are interested in grabbing one of these beautiful planners, make sure you use that link. I think these are both beautiful layouts and really great options if you're somebody who wants to sort of incorporate that more overall well-being into your planning and not just have a planner strictly for your to-do list. So let me know in the comments below which cover is your favorite. I think all 6 covers are absolutely beautiful. And let me know which layout you would prefer. Do you like the weekly? Do you like the daily? Which one do you think would work best in your life? If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please click that subscribe button. I upload new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you so much for watching. Happy planning. Why was I looking at myself that whole time? Purse invisible. Also have another foil cover, not foil cover, but it's gold floral. Let's put the daily to the side for the second. And it's got this rose cold goil. I love the way their paper smells, by the way, flipping through this.